There comes a moment when your soul grows tired of being last on your own list, not angry, not dramatic, just quietly exhausted from always giving, always adjusting, always waiting for permission to be yourself. If you're here now, this may be that moment. You've been taught that choosing yourself is selfish. That love means sacrifice. But notice what happens when you abandon your needs long enough. Your body tightens, your heart closes, and joy becomes something you remember instead of feel. This is not a call to push anyone away. It is an invitation to come back home to yourself, to listen to what you've been silencing, to honor the part of you that knows what it needs to heal and thrive. Stay with these words. There is a gentle decision waiting to be made. And when you choose yourself, even once, life begins to meet you with the same respect. My dear one, there comes a moment in every life when the heart begins to whisper a truth it can no longer hold inside. It is not a loud call. It is not dramatic. It is not even firm. It is simply a quiet, steady request rising from the deepest part of your being, asking you to look at yourself with the tenderness you have long offered to everyone else. When that whisper appears, it is the soul's way of saying it is time to choose yourself. You may not have known this whisper was forming. It often begins far beneath the surface, beneath your habits, beneath your responsibilities, beneath the expectations you have lived under for years. But the whisper grows in moments of stillness, in moments of fatigue, in moments of longing you can't quite name. It grows each time you give away more of yourself than you can comfortably spare. Perhaps you have felt it recently as a gentle ache in your chest, or a tightness in your stomach, or a heaviness in your thoughts. These sensations are not signs that something is wrong with you. They are signs that something inside you is tired of being ignored. They are the early murmurs of self-awareness, the soft beginnings of a truth wanting to be heard. I matter too. Let us breathe together. Take a gentle inhale and allow it to reach your belly. Let the exhale fall out naturally, without effort. Feel how this breath reminds you of yourself, not the roles you play, not the duties you carry, but you, the you who lives beneath all the layers of giving and worrying and trying. This breath is your own. And in this moment, it is a reminder that your life belongs to you as much as it belongs to anyone else. For many people, the whisper appears after years of being last on their own list. They put the needs of others first, out of love, out of obligation, out of expectation, out of habit. And in doing so, they learn to silence their own desires, push aside their own needs, and ignore the signals of their own bodies. Eventually, the soul grows weary, not angry, not disappointed, just tired of being overlooked by the one person whose love it needs most, you. You may remember moments when you pushed through exhaustion because you felt you had no right to rest, or times when you set aside your own feelings so others would not be uncomfortable, or moments when you offered support while quietly hoping someone would offer the same to you. These memories hold a kind of heaviness, not because they were wrong, but because they were unbalanced. Choosing yourself begins with recognizing that imbalance. It begins with noticing how often you say yes when your heart gently whispers no, how often you smile when your spirit is begging for stillness, how often you comfort others while your own hurt lingers unacknowledged. These patterns accumulate quietly, and over time, they create a life where you feel present for everyone but yourself. Let us pause again. Feel the breath in your body. Notice whether your shoulders are lifted or relaxed. Notice whether your jaw is tight or soft. The body always tells the truth of how long it has been waiting to be chosen. When you begin to listen, its whispers become clearer, kinder, more revealing. You may wonder why the whisper feels louder now, why this moment of all moments is when you felt drawn to these words. It is because your inner self has grown strong enough to be heard. Even if you feel fragile, even if you feel uncertain, even if you feel weary, strength does not always feel like confidence. Sometimes strength feels like exhaustion that refuses to keep pretending. That exhaustion is sacred. It leads you home. The whisper often begins in the simplest of questions, questions you may have brushed aside before now. What about me? Why am I always last? When will I matter to myself? Why do I give so much and feel so little in return? These questions are not selfish. They are honest. They arise when the heart is awakening, when the soul has had enough of being silenced, when the inner self begins asking for inclusion, for care, for respect. We often learn to believe that choosing ourselves means abandoning others. But the opposite is true. When you choose yourself, you begin to give from a place of fullness rather than depletion. Your love becomes richer, your presence becomes deeper, your relationships become more honest. Choosing yourself strengthens every part of your life because it restores balance to what has long been uneven. Let us breathe again, slowly, tenderly. Feel how the inhale invites life inward. Feel how the exhale makes space for something new. Your breath understands choosing yourself long before your mind does. It gathers what you need. It releases what you no longer require. It mirrors the wisdom your heart is trying to teach you. Think about how often you have abandoned your own needs in the name of kindness. Think about how often you have believed that choosing yourself would make you unloving or selfish. These beliefs were not born in your heart. They were taught. They were learned. And because they were learned, they can be unlearned. Choosing yourself is not an act of separation. It is an act of unification. It brings you back to yourself so you can offer your love from a place of inner truth. When you suppress your needs, your love becomes strained. When you honor your needs, your love becomes expansive. Perhaps you feel something shifting inside you as you read these words, a soft recognition, a quiet ache, a sense of being seen. That is the whisper growing louder. That is your soul saying, please don't ignore me anymore. It has waited through years of responsibilities, years of giving, years of living through patterns that did not honor your heart. Now it is ready to be chosen. Let yourself feel what arises in this moment. If sadness comes, let it come. Sadness is not weakness. It is the release of years of self-denial. If relief comes, let it come. Relief is the heart recognizing truth. If nothing comes, let that be too. Sometimes awareness takes time to settle. You do not need to feel anything in a particular way for this moment to matter. Choosing yourself does not require grand decisions. It begins in small ways by noticing your own needs, listening to your own desires, acknowledging your own pain. It begins with a single thought filled with self-regard. I deserve to be included in my own life. Let us breathe once more. This breath is not just air. It is an affirmation. It says, I am present with myself. It says, I am willing to listen. It says, I matter. You may have lived many years believing that others must come first. But now, something inside you knows that your well-being is not an afterthought. It is a foundation. It is the ground upon which your life stands. When you choose yourself, everything rises to meet that choice. Your relationships become clearer. Your boundaries become kinder. Your voice becomes steadier. This whisper is the beginning of a new inner relationship, one built not on neglect, but on respect, not on silence, but on honesty, not on depletion, but on nourishment. It is the beginning of remembering your place in your own heart. You did not find this moment. It found you, because you were ready, because your soul knew it was time. Because you have given so much for so long that your inner self is asking ever so gently to be given to as well. Choosing yourself begins here, with awareness, with breath, with the soft, sacred whisper. I matter too. My dear one, now that you have felt the quiet whisper inviting you to choose yourself, let us sit together and gently explore why this choice matters so deeply. You may have lived much of your life believing you could carry on without tending to your own heart. You may have told yourself that as long as others were cared for, your own needs could wait. But the soul is not meant to live on crumbs. The heart cannot thrive on being an afterthought. There comes a time when your inner being begins to show signs of weariness, not because you are weak, but because you have been strong for too long without offering yourself the love you so freely give to others. This weariness is not a punishment. It is a message. It is your body and your spirit saying in unison, "My dear, you cannot pour endlessly from an empty place." Let us breathe together for a moment. A slow inhale, a gentle exhale. Feel how your breath nourishes your body without asking for anything in return. This breath reminds you that receiving is natural. You are not here only to give. You are here to be filled, supported, and renewed. Choosing yourself matters because it restores the balance that living for others alone has taken from you. Think of the many ways your body has tried to speak to you, the tiredness that no amount of sleep seemed to ease, the tightness in your chest when you said yes to something you did not want, the heaviness in your stomach when you ignored your intuition, the way your shoulders lifted, carrying silent burdens you were too afraid to put down. These signals are not inconveniences, they are guidance. They are reminders that you have needs too, and they matter. Choosing yourself matters because it is the only way to come back into alignment with the truth of your being. You were not created to live a life of constant giving without ever being replenished. You were not created to silence your feelings so others might stay comfortable. You were not created to disappear in service to everyone but yourself. The universe made you with intention, with purpose, with beauty, with a heart deserving of its own care. Often we learn early in life that our worth comes from how much we do for others. We learn to measure our goodness by our sacrifices. We learn to dim our needs so we are not a burden. These lessons become patterns, and these patterns become our way of living. But patterns are not destiny. They can be unlearned. And choosing yourself is the doorway to that unlearning. Let us soften again into the breath. Feel your inhale create space within you. Feel your exhale release the tension you have carried for years. This breath honors you. Let it remind you that you deserve to be honored as well. When you neglect yourself long enough, something happens inside, a quiet closing of the heart, a dwindling of joy, a sense that life has become too heavy to hold. You may wake with a longing you cannot name, or go to bed feeling unseen even in a room full of people. This is not because you are unloved. It is because you have forgotten to love yourself. Choosing yourself matters because it reopens the inner door that self-neglect has slowly closed. It allows joy to return in gentle waves. It allows peace to enter the spaces where strain once lived. It allows your life to feel like your own again, not just something you manage for the sake of others. You may have believed that choosing yourself would make you selfish. But selfishness is an act of taking from others. Choosing yourself is an act of giving to yourself. There is a great difference. Loving yourself does not diminish your love for others. It deepens it. It steadies it. It frees it from resentment and exhaustion. When you care for yourself, you offer love that is full rather than love that is desperate. You may recall times when you offered so much of yourself that you felt drained long before the day was done. You may remember moments when you were present in body but empty in spirit. These moments are the signs of inner imbalance. You were carrying more than you were ever meant to carry alone. Choosing yourself is how you place some of that load down. Let us pause again and feel the breath. Notice how the inhale rises smoothly. Notice how the exhale softens your entire being. This breath teaches you one of the greatest truths. Life is not meant to be held entirely in your hands. It flows to you and from you. Choosing yourself allows you to receive the part of life that nourishes. Choosing yourself matters because it strengthens your relationship with your own truth. How often have you silenced your intuition because it did not align with what others expected of you? How often have you dismissed your feelings because they were inconvenient? When you choose yourself, you begin to honor your inner knowing. Your feelings become guideposts rather than obstacles. Imagine for a moment a child tugging softly at your sleeve, trying to gain your attention. Your intuition behaves much the same way. It tugs gently when something feels wrong. It tugs again when something feels right. It tugs when your heart needs rest. But if you ignore it long enough, it quiets itself, not because it stops caring, but because it waits for you to care. Choosing yourself invites your intuition to speak again. It says, I am listening. You matter to me. Let us breathe once more, slowly and fully. Feel how your breath makes space for the voice inside you. Another reason choosing yourself matters is because it restores your sense of belonging to yourself. When you spend your days meeting everyone's needs but your own, you begin to drift away from your inner home. You lose sight of your desires, your passions, your boundaries. Your heart becomes a visitor in your own life. But when you choose yourself, you begin to return. You begin to inhabit your life again. You feel present. You feel gently grounded. You feel connected to the quiet truth that you, too, deserve to be cared for. Choosing yourself matters because it allows you to participate in your life fully. You stop living from obligation and begin living from intention. You stop moving from guilt and begin moving from desire. You stop apologizing for needing care and begin honoring your heart's requests. Think of the times you swallowed your feelings to avoid conflict. Think of the times you said yes to something that harmed your peace. Think of the times you offered understanding to others while denying yourself even a moment of compassion. These were moments when you stepped away from yourself, and yet your heart never stopped waiting for you to return. Let us pause again. Inhale the possibility of a kinder life. Exhale the belief that choosing yourself is wrong. Your breath knows the truth. Let it guide you. Choosing yourself matters because it changes the way you move through the world. When you honor your own needs, you walk with a steadier step. Your shoulders soften, your eyes brighten, your words become clearer. You no longer shrink to make others comfortable. You no longer carry the weight of pleasing everyone. You no longer apologize for existing. Instead, you stand in the quiet dignity of someone who knows they are worthy of care. And the world feels that change. People respond differently. Life responds differently. Your experiences begin to reflect the respect you give yourself. Choosing yourself is not an act you perform once. It is a way of living. It is the gentle decision to include yourself in your own kindness, to trust your inner voice, to listen to your needs, to rest when your body asks, to soften when your heart aches, to celebrate your joys instead of minimizing them. Choosing yourself matters because it teaches others how to treat you. People learn from your actions far more than from your words. When you neglect yourself, you silently teach others to do the same. When you cherish yourself, you teach them to cherish you. Let us breathe once more, deeply and with intention. Feel how your breath affirms your right to take up space in this world. Choosing yourself matters because you matter. You matter to your own heart. You matter to your own well-being. You matter to your own joy. You matter to the life you are shaping. This moment of awareness is not small. It is sacred. You are rediscovering the truth that your needs are not inconveniences. They are part of your humanity. They are part of your purpose. They are part of why you are here. Choosing yourself matters because it opens the door to a kind of peace you may have forgotten was possible. A peace that comes not from fixing your life, but from tending to your heart. A peace that grows each time you treat yourself with respect. A peace that invites life to meet you with gentleness. You are beginning to learn that choosing yourself does not take away from anyone else. It simply restores you, it nourishes you, it prepares you. And from that place of inner fullness, your love becomes stronger, clearer, freer. My dear one, you are learning why your heart has been whispering for so long. It has been asking you to return to yourself. And now you are listening. My dear one, now that you understand why choosing yourself matters, let us move into the loving remembrance that you have always had the right to choose yourself. This right was present long before the world taught you otherwise. It lived within you when you were a child, before you learned to silence your needs, before you learned to measure your worth by how much you did for others, before you learned to place yourself last. This right is not something you must earn. It is something you must reclaim. So many of us were taught in subtle ways that our feelings were inconveniences. We learned to be quiet when our hearts were loud. We learned to be agreeable when our spirits longed to speak. We learned to dim our light so that others would not feel uncomfortable. And over time, these quiet lessons begin to shape our beliefs. We come to believe that choosing ourselves is selfish, or unkind, or somehow wrong. But hear me clearly, my dear. Choosing yourself is not selfishness. It is self-recognition. It is self-remembering. It is self-respect. Let us breathe together for a moment. A soft inhale into your chest, a long, gentle sigh out of your body. Feel how even your breath returns you to yourself. It does not ask permission. It does not wait until others are satisfied. It simply fills you because you were born deserving of life, deserving of nourishment, deserving of space. You too deserve to be filled. Choosing yourself is not something you must justify. It is not something you must defend. It is not something you must explain. It is a natural right of being alive. A flower does not ask permission to lean toward the sunlight. A river does not apologize for flowing in its own direction. In the same way, your heart does not need approval to seek what nourishes it. Somewhere along your life's journey, you may have forgotten this. You may have come to believe that you must wait for someone else to choose you first. But today, we are remembering a different truth. You were meant to choose yourself before anyone else ever could. Your love for yourself sets the tone for every love that follows. Think of how often you have placed your own needs aside, not out of malice, but out of habit, out of misunderstanding, out of old beliefs that told you your feelings were less important than the needs of others. But those beliefs were not your truth. They were echoes of the fears and wounds of the people who taught you, and you are not required to carry them any longer. Let yourself breathe again. Let your shoulders drop. Let your chest soften. This softness is the beginning of remembering. When you begin to recognize your right to choose yourself, your inner landscape starts to shift. The places within you that once felt abandoned begin to open. The parts of you that felt unseen begin to rise. Your spirit begins to stretch, like a long-forgotten limb waking after years of being still. You may feel sadness as this awakening happens. Sadness for the times you ignored your own heart. Sadness for the years you spent believing you had to prove your worth. Sadness for how long you lived without offering yourself the kindness you gave so easily to others. Allow this sadness. It is not a sign of regret, it is a sign of rebirth. It means you are remembering your value. Choosing yourself does not mean rejecting others. It means including yourself. It means looking inward with tenderness and asking, what do I need in this moment? What truth is rising in me? What would bring me peace? These questions are invitations, your own soul inviting you back into conversation with yourself. Let us breathe once more. Inhale your own presence. Exhale the belief that your needs are a burden. Feel how the breath becomes an affirmation. I am allowed to be here. There is a quiet dignity that emerges when you remember your right to choose yourself. You move through the world differently, not with arrogance, but with groundedness. You do not ask the world for permission to exist. You begin to exist from your truth. You begin to speak with clarity. You begin to walk with steadiness. Remember that choosing yourself is not loud. It does not require shouting or stamping your foot. Most of the time, choosing yourself sounds like a soft internal no when something does not feel right, or a gentle yes when your heart is longing for rest. It feels like placing a hand on your chest when you feel overwhelmed, reminding yourself that you are here and you matter. Think of a time when your heart whispered a need but you ignored it. Perhaps you stayed in a place that no longer felt right. Perhaps you gave when your spirit was empty. Perhaps you kept silent when your truth longed to be spoken. These memories hold a kind of ache, not because you failed, but because you forgot your right to choose yourself. And now, my dear, you are remembering. Let us pause again. Feel the breath move through your body. Feel how it reintroduces you to yourself. This breath is your birthright. So is choosing yourself. When you forget your right to choose yourself, life becomes heavy. You feel pulled in every direction but your own. You lose your inner compass. You shrink to fit the needs of others. But when you remember, everything begins to shift. You start to navigate life from your own center. You begin to say yes when it aligns with your truth and no when it does not. You begin to honor your body's signals rather than dismissing them. Choosing yourself is the foundation of self-love. It is the beginning of every healthy boundary. It is the source of every peaceful decision. It is the seed from which your entire life blossoms. Let yourself breathe again, deeper this time. Feel the breath clear space inside your chest. Feel it. Make room for new understanding. You are not here to live a life of constant sacrifice. You are here to express the fullness of who you are, and you cannot express fullness when you give from emptiness. Choosing yourself restores your well-being, so you can give from abundance rather than depletion. Imagine now that you are standing at a quiet shoreline. The waves rise and fall before you, each one washing the sand clean. The water does not apologize for returning to shore. It does not explain itself. It moves in alignment with its nature. In the same way, choosing yourself is a return to your natural rhythm, your natural truth, your natural worth. As you remember your right to choose yourself, people around you may feel the shift. Some will celebrate it, others may be surprised. A few may resist, especially if they benefited from your self-neglect. But their reactions are not your responsibility. Your only responsibility is to honor your heart with love. Let us breathe again. Soft inhale, unhurried exhale. Feel how your breath affirms your right to be whole. Choosing yourself is how you teach your spirit that you are worthy of care. It is how you show your heart that it is safe to speak. It is how you remind your soul that it is not an afterthought. And when you remember this right, you reclaim something precious, your own life. You begin to walk with more presence. You begin to listen with more intimacy. You begin to rest with more guiltlessness. You begin to speak with more truth. You begin to live as someone who knows that they deserve to be chosen, not by others, but by themselves. This, my dear, is your inheritance. This is your birthright. This is your truth. My dear one, now that you are remembering your right to choose yourself, let us move into the tender, practical, daily unfolding of what that truly means. Choosing yourself is not something that happens in a single moment of bravery. It is something you learn to do again and again, in the smallest decisions, in the quietest hours, in the gentle pauses where your heart has space to speak. It becomes a daily act of devotion, a loving conversation between your spirit and your life. For many years, you may have awakened each morning and immediately stepped into the needs of others. The moment your eyes opened, your mind began planning, preparing, giving. You may have carried the worries of those around you before remembering to check in with your own heart. But choosing yourself daily begins the moment you wake. It begins with a simple question whispered inwardly. What do I need today? Let us breathe together. A slow, warm inhale, a soft, releasing exhale. Feel how your breath brings you back to yourself, even before the world asks anything of you. This breath is the first act of choosing yourself each day. It is you saying, I return to my own center before I step out into the world. Choosing yourself daily means listening to your body, to your feelings, to your intuition. Your body speaks through sensation. Your emotions speak through guidance. Your intuition speaks through quiet knowing. These voices are gentle, but they are steady. When you begin each day by listening, you nurture the relationship between you and yourself. You might place a hand on your heart in the morning and simply ask, what would feel kind for me today? The answer may be rest. It may be stillness. It may be a walk outside, or a slower pace, or a moment of peaceful solitude. The answer may be something simple, something so simple you once overlooked it. But the heart speaks softly, and when you choose yourself, you begin to hear its requests. Choosing yourself daily means noticing the moments when you are betraying your own needs. Perhaps you feel yourself agreeing to something that tightens your chest. Perhaps you hear yourself saying yes when your spirit whispers no. Perhaps you feel your body shrinking back while your voice offers a polite smile. Daily choosing means pausing, breathing, and asking inwardly, is this true for me? Let us breathe again. Inhale clarity, exhale pressure. Feel how the breath creates space within you. This space is where self-choosing becomes possible. When you practice choosing yourself daily, you no longer move through the world on automatic habits of self-abandonment. You begin to act from inner alignment rather than outer expectation. You respond from truth rather than guilt. You take pauses rather than pushing through. The smallest pause can change the direction of your entire day. For example, imagine someone asks something of you, and your instinct is to say yes out of habit. But instead of giving an immediate answer, you take a breath. You check in with your heart. You ask, does this feel loving for me? In that pause, you reclaim your power. You reclaim your presence. You practice choosing yourself. Daily choosing also means knowing when to rest. Many people carry the belief that rest must be earned, that it is something reserved for when every task is completed. But rest is not a reward. Rest is a need. Rest is a form of self-respect. When your body aches with fatigue, when your spirit feels overwhelmed, when your thoughts grow heavy, rest is the loving answer. Let us pause and feel the truth of that. A slow inhale into your tired places, a gentle exhale into ease. Choosing yourself means you do not push yourself beyond your limits out of fear. You do not ignore your body's wisdom because others have needs. You do not silence your heart to avoid disappointing someone. You learn to say, I must honor myself first so that I may show up with genuine love. Daily choosing also means speaking kindly to yourself. The voice within you shapes the way you move through the world. When your inner voice is harsh, demanding, or dismissive, your spirit contracts. But when your inner voice is gentle, encouraging, and patient, your spirit expands. A simple phrase repeated each morning, I treat myself with love, can shift the entire course of your day. Let us breathe again. Inhale tenderness. Exhale old criticism. Feel how the breath carries away the old tone you once used with yourself. You are learning a new language, one of compassion. Choosing yourself daily means creating small moments of nourishment, a quiet cup of tea, a few minutes of stillness, a gentle stretch, a loving thought. These moments may seem insignificant, but they accumulate. They send a message inward. I care for you. I see you. You matter. These messages are healing. They restore the connection between you and your inner self, the connection you may have lost while tending to everyone else. Daily choosing also involves honoring your feelings. Feelings are not inconveniences. They are visitors carrying truth. If sadness comes, let it come. If joy arises, let it bloom. If anger shows itself, it is revealing a boundary that has been crossed or a need that has been ignored. When you choose yourself, you no longer push these feelings away. You meet them with love. Let us pause once more. Inhale acceptance, exhale resistance. Feel how the breath allows your emotions to move freely within you without judgment. Choosing yourself each day means creating boundaries not out of anger, but out of clarity. A boundary is simply a truth you honor about yourself. It may be as quiet as saying, I cannot do this today, or I need time alone, or this does not feel right for me. These boundaries protect your energy, your peace, and your heart. They are not walls, they are invitations for respect. Daily choosing means walking away from what dims your spirit. It means stepping toward what nourishes you. It means being willing to disappoint others occasionally rather than continuously disappointing yourself. It means remembering that your life is your own. Imagine waking tomorrow morning with a slow, gentle breath and saying softly inwardly, I choose myself today. Feel how your body receives those words. Feel the way your chest softens. Feel the quiet dignity rising within you. That dignity is your true nature. Let us breathe again. Inhale self-trust. Exhale fear of judgment. Choosing yourself daily will slowly transform the way you relate to the world. You will walk with more presence. You will speak with more honesty. You will make decisions from your heart rather than from fear. People will sense this shift. They will approach you with more respect because you approach yourself with respect. Your daily acts of self-choosing will invite life to meet you differently. Opportunities will appear that align with your truth. Relationships will deepen or gently fall away. Your days will feel less rushed, less heavy, less directionless. You will begin to feel anchored in yourself, even when the world around you is uncertain. Daily choosing also invites joy back into your life. Joy does not thrive in exhaustion. Joy does not bloom in self-neglect. Joy requires space. Joy requires presence. Joy requires that you allow yourself to receive delight as much as you offer it. Let us breathe again. Inhale joy. Exhale old burdens. Feel how even the idea of joy brightens your breath. Daily choosing means that you stop looking outward for permission. You begin to trust yourself. You begin to trust your own path. You begin to trust that your needs are not inconveniences, they are guidance. You become willing to disappoint the expectations that once controlled you in order to honor the voice that lives within you. Choosing yourself each day is not about perfection. It is about practice. Some days you will forget. Some days you will abandon yourself again out of old habit. When that happens, be gentle. Simply return. Simply breathe. Simply say, I choose myself in this moment. That moment of return is healing. Let us pause once more. Inhale forgiveness. Exhale regret. Feel how forgiveness softens your entire being. Choosing yourself daily means living from your heart. It means standing in your truth, even when your voice trembles. It means nourishing your body when it is tired. It means speaking to yourself with gentle words. It means listening inwardly before acting outwardly. It means living as if you matter, because you do, more than you've ever allowed yourself to believe. And as you practice choosing yourself day after day, something beautiful will happen. You will begin to feel at home within your own life. You will no longer feel like a visitor in your own heart. You will belong to yourself again. My dear one, now that you have begun the daily act of choosing yourself, let us move into the gentle truth of what it means to live from that choice. There is a great difference between moments of self-awareness and a life shaped by self-love. Living from self-choice means stepping into a new way of being, one where your relationship with yourself becomes the foundation upon which everything else is built. It means allowing your choices, your voice, your pace, and your presence to reflect the worth you are finally acknowledging. Living from self-choice does not require dramatic shifts. It is not about changing everything at once. Instead, it is about allowing the transformation to unfold naturally, breath by breath, thought by thought, day by day. It is the quiet, steady movement toward a life that feels more like truth and less like obligation. It is becoming someone who honors themselves, not occasionally, but consistently. Let us breathe together, my dear. A soft inhale, a long exhale. Feel how the breath steadies you, how it holds you, how it reminds you that your life unfolds in its own rhythm. There is no hurry. There is only the next loving moment. As you continue choosing yourself, you will notice that your energy changes. You will no longer feel the same pull to explain yourself, defend yourself, or apologize for your needs. You will speak more gently, not just to others, but to yourself. You will begin to walk with a quiet certainty, not a loud confidence, but a soft, grounded assurance that comes from knowing your heart is finally being honored. Your relationships will begin to reflect this shift. People who cherish your well-being will meet you with more respect, more attentiveness, more ease. They will sense your steadiness and rise to meet it. People who depended on your constant self-sacrifice may feel unsettled at first. They may not understand why you are no longer available in the same way. But you are not withdrawing from love, you are withdrawing from self-abandonment. Let us pause again. Inhale clarity, exhale attachment to old patterns. Feel the spaciousness that opens within you when you release the idea that you must live as you once did. You are allowed to change. Living from self-choice means trusting the wisdom of your own heart. You no longer act because you feel obligated. You act because something inside you says, this feels right. You no longer ignore the quiet warning in your chest. You no longer swallow your truth to avoid discomfort. Instead, you speak gently, honestly, lovingly. You trust your inner rhythm more than the expectations around you. You may notice yourself becoming more discerning. You may choose conversations that nourish you rather than deplete you. You may choose environments that feel peaceful rather than draining. You may choose relationships that honor your spirit rather than diminish your joy. This discernment is not judgment, it is self-respect in action. Let us breathe again. Inhale self-respect. Exhale self-doubt. Feel how your breath lifts your spirit as you allow yourself to rise into this new way of being. Living from self-choice means walking through your day with a deeper presence. You will notice your own needs before they become urgent. You will rest before you collapse. You will express your truth before resentment forms. You will honor your boundaries before they are crossed. These acts may appear small to others, but to your heart, they are monumental. You may find that your inner voice grows clearer as you practice this. A voice that once whispered now speaks with gentle authority. It says, slow down. It says, this is not for you. It says, this feels right. It says, you deserve kindness. And you listen because you have learned that this voice has always been your truest guide. Let us pause once more. Inhale inner guidance. Exhale the need for outside approval. Feel how your breath helps you return to yourself again and again. Living from self-choice also means releasing the belief that you must be everything for everyone. You begin to understand that your worth is not measured by how much you give away, but by how deeply you honor your own humanity. You begin to realize that love is not sacrifice, it is alignment. When you are aligned with yourself, your love flows freely without depleting you. This shift may feel unfamiliar at first. You may wonder whether you are doing something wrong simply because it feels new. But new does not mean wrong. New means growth. New means truth returning. New means you are becoming someone who no longer disappears inside their own life. Let us breathe again. Inhale acceptance of your growth. Exhale fear of being misunderstood. Feel how your breath reassures you that every change you make from love is right. As you live from self-choice, you will begin to make decisions that honor your future as well as your present. You will consider how each choice feels in your body, in your heart, in your spirit. You will ask, does this support the person I am becoming? And the answers will guide you gently toward a life that feels like it belongs to you again. This way of living does not demand perfection. There will be days when you forget yourself, days when old habits return, days when you slip into patterns of overgiving or self-criticism. When this happens, do not scold yourself. Do not slip into old fears. Simply return. Simply breathe. Simply choose yourself again. The return is the healing. Let us pause. Inhale forgiveness. Exhale guilt. Feel how forgiveness softens your inner world, creating room for growth. Living from self-choice creates a quiet strength within you. Not the strength that comes from endurance, but the strength that comes from self-alignment. You no longer break yourself to keep peace. You no longer sacrifice your truth to avoid disappointment. You no longer dim your own light to make others comfortable. You walk with a gentler kind of confidence, one that says, I know who I am, and I honor myself. This confidence is not loud, but it is unmistakable. People feel it, life responds to it, opportunities align with it. Your entire world begins to shift around the self-love you cultivate within. Let us breathe again. Inhale the fullness of your worth. Exhale old limitations. Feel how your breath expands your sense of possibility. Living from self-choice means acknowledging the journey you have walked to reach this moment. You have carried burdens quietly. You have loved generously. You have endured moments of deep loneliness, and through it all, you continued moving. The fact that you are here, reading these words, shows your resilience. It shows that you are ready to live from a deeper truth. Imagine now that your life is a garden. For years, you tended everyone else's flowers, watering their soil, pulling their weeds, nurturing their growth, while your own garden went untouched. But now you are returning with loving hands to your own soil. You are tending to your roots. You are planting new seeds. You are allowing sunlight to touch the places within you that have long been in shadow. As you tend to yourself, your garden will bloom. Not all at once, but in gentle stages. A new boundary sprouting here, a new truth emerging there, a new joy budding in a quiet corner of your heart, and others will notice. They will see the beauty in your self-respect. They will feel the peace in your presence. Let us pause once more. Inhale the blossoming of your inner garden. Exhale the belief that your life must remain as it has been. You are growing, my dear. You are becoming. You are remembering. Living from self-choice means trusting your inner wisdom enough to shape your life around it. It means saying yes to what nourishes you and no to what harms you. It means giving yourself permission to be whole. It means releasing the version of you that survived by self-neglect and embracing the version of you that thrives through self-love. This is your transformation. This is your awakening. This is your return to yourself. You are becoming someone who no longer waits for others to choose them. You are choosing yourself. And that choice will shape the rest of your life. My dear one, now that we have walked through every tender step of this journey together, let us sit quietly in the truth that is ready to settle into your heart. You are the one you have been waiting for, not someone else's approval, not someone else's recognition, not someone else's permission. You, your own love, your own kindness, your own choice, your own presence. There comes a moment in every healing journey when the noise of the world fades just enough for you to hear the softest truth rise inside you. I can no longer abandon myself. This truth does not shout, it does not demand, it simply stands in your heart, patient and unwavering, waiting for you to notice. And now you have. Let us take a breath together. A slow inhale of remembrance, a soft exhale of release. Feel how the breath gathers every part of you that once felt scattered. Feel how it returns you to yourself, gathering your energy, grounding your spirit, steadying your heart. This breath is the first sign that you are coming home, not to a place, not to a person, but to your own being. Choosing yourself is not an act that happens once. It is a path you walk, a path that winds gently through every part of your life, the places where you feel strong, the places where you feel tender, the places where you are still uncertain. And as you walk this path, you grow into someone who no longer waits to be chosen. You choose yourself. You may not realize how much you have already shifted, but the moment you allowed these words into your heart, something deep within you began to soften. The tight places started to loosen. The forgotten places began to wake. The weary places felt seen. Awakening does not happen in an instant. It happens breath by breath, thought by thought, realization by realization. Let us pause again, place a gentle hand over your heart, feel its warmth, feel its rhythm, feel its loyalty. Your heart has stayed with you through every moment of self-forgetting, through every time you placed yourself last, through every time you silenced your needs, through every time you believed you had to give until there was nothing left. And still, your heart beat for you. Still, your heart whispered for you. Still, your heart waited for the moment you would finally turn inward and say, I see you. My dear, this moment is that turning. As you breathe now, notice what rises inside you. You may feel relief. You may feel sadness. You may feel longing. You may feel nothing at all. Every response is welcome. Every response is a sign of life returning to places within you that have been quiet for far too long. Healing does not arrive as a single wave. It arrives gently, like tide touching the shore again and again. You are learning to live in a new way, a way that honors your needs rather than overlooks them, a way that listens to your feelings rather than dismisses them, a way that chooses peace rather than pleasing, a way that trusts your intuition rather than silencing it, a way that says, I matter, not with defiance, but with truth. Let us breathe again. Inhale your worth, exhale your old doubts. Feel how your breath invites your spirit into alignment with your new awareness. Now that you have remembered your right to choose yourself, you will begin to see life differently. Decisions that once felt confusing will become clearer. Situations that once drained you will no longer hold the same power. You will sense when something aligns with your heart and when it does not. This sensitivity is not fragility. It is wisdom returning. And as this wisdom returns, the world around you begins to shift. People treat you differently, not because they suddenly changed, but because your presence is different. Your tone is different. Your boundaries are clearer. Your heart is awake. And people cannot help but respond to the quiet dignity that grows within someone who finally values themselves. Let us pause once more. Inhale the strength of your awakening. Exhale the fear of being misunderstood. My dear, the path of choosing yourself will not always feel comfortable. Growth rarely does. There will be moments when old habits pull at you, moments when your heart aches for patterns it has outgrown simply because they were familiar. Moments when you question whether you deserve the gentleness you are learning to offer yourself. When those moments come, breathe. Return to your center. Return to your heart. Return to the truth you have discovered. You deserve a life where you are included. You deserve ease. You deserve rest. You deserve love, your own love, most of all. Choosing yourself is not about rejecting others. It is about refusing to reject yourself. It is about understanding that you are part of the circle of care, not standing outside it. It is about extending inward the same compassion you extend outward. It is about making your inner world a safe, loving place to return to each day. Let us breathe again, slowly, intentionally. Inhale self-respect. Exhale old self-sacrifice. You are learning to live from fullness rather than depletion. You are learning to take care of the one whose life depends on you most, yourself. You are learning that nurturing your own heart does not take away from your love for others. It strengthens it, it purifies it, it makes it real rather than forced. Imagine for a moment that you are standing before a mirror. Not a mirror that shows your face, but a mirror that reflects your spirit. In this mirror, you see the truth of who you are, not the mistakes, not the fears, not the doubts, but the soul that has always been worthy, the soul that has been longing for your attention, the soul that is ready to be chosen. Look at this reflection with kindness, look at it with patience, look at it with love. Say softly within yourself, I choose you. Say it again, I choose you today. And once more, I choose you now, and I will choose you again. Feel how these words land in your chest. Feel how your breath responds. Feel how your spirit rises just a little more, as if recognizing that after all these years, you have finally returned. Choosing yourself transforms your life from the inside out. It affects the way you speak, the way you walk, the way you love, the way you receive. It guides you toward relationships that honor your being. It gently closes doors that no longer reflect your truth. It leads you to opportunities that nourish your heart. It protects your peace. It restores your joy. It reconnects you with the beauty of simply being alive. Let us breathe once more. Inhale the life that awaits you. Exhale the life you are releasing. My dear, you are stepping into a new chapter, not one forced by willpower, but one opened by awareness. You are no longer the person who ignores their own needs. You are no longer the person who apologizes for having limits. You are no longer the person who confuses self-neglect with goodness. You are becoming someone who honors their heart, someone who listens inwardly, someone who trusts their intuition, someone who treats themselves with love, someone who stands in self-respect, someone who chooses themselves, not once, but continually. You are the one you have been waiting for, and you are ready, truly ready, ready to walk forward with softer steps, clearer boundaries, and a heart that no longer hides from its own truth. Let us take one final breath together. A gentle inhale of hope, a peaceful exhale of surrender. Feel this breath seal your transformation. Feel it affirm the life you are stepping into. Feel it whisper the truth your soul already knows. You are worthy of being chosen. You are worthy of being loved. You are worthy of being honored. And now, at last, you are choosing yourself. My dear one, as we arrive at this final resting place in our journey together, let us settle into the deep, quiet truth that choosing yourself is not merely a decision, it is a rebirth, not a dramatic eruption, not a sudden transformation, but a tender unfolding, a gentle awakening, a soft return to a part of you that has waited faithfully, perhaps for years, for your love. So often, people believe that rebirth arrives with loud declarations or sweeping changes. But most true beginnings arrive quietly, like dawn brushing the edges of night. They come as a shift in breath, a softening in the chest, a whispered thought, maybe I matter too. This whisper is the birthplace of a new life. Let us breathe together. A slow inhale, a long exhale. Feel how your breath creates space inside you. Space for truth, space for possibility, space for the rebirth that is already taking shape. You do not need to force this rebirth. Your only task is to allow it. Choosing yourself is a return to your natural state. You were not born apologizing for your needs. You were not born silencing your feelings. You were not born bending yourself into shapes that hid your truth. As a child, you instinctively chose what felt good, what felt kind, what felt nourishing. You did not question whether your needs were acceptable. You simply honored them. Somewhere along the way, the world taught you to quiet that wisdom, to be pleasing, to be agreeable, to be small. And slowly, gently, that original self, vibrant, honest, expressive, stepped back into the shadows, waiting for the right moment to return. That moment, my dear, is now. Let us pause again with the breath. Inhale your original innocence. Exhale the learned patterns of self-denial. Feel how your heart responds to this remembering. As you choose yourself, you awaken the parts of you that were forgotten. You awaken your intuition, the gentle inner voice that always knew the way. You awaken your joy, the natural delight that once came so easily. You awaken your truth, the knowing of what feels right and what does not. This awakening may feel unfamiliar at first, but it is your own essence returning. Choosing yourself allows you to breathe in new ways, not just through your lungs, through your life, through your decisions, through your boundaries, through your expression, through your relationships. You become someone who does not shrink away from themselves. Someone who steps toward themselves with tenderness. Let us breathe again, slowly. Inhale belonging, exhale self-abandonment. Choosing yourself begins to reshape the inner world where your thoughts live. You begin to notice when your old voice, the one built from fear, guilt, or conditioning, tries to speak. And instead of obeying it, you pause, you listen inwardly, you speak kindly to yourself, you offer reassurance. This loving dialogue becomes your new way of relating to yourself. It is a quiet revolution, a gentle reclaiming, a rebirth of self-respect. As you practice choosing yourself, you may find the world responding differently to you. People notice when someone has come home to themselves. There is a steadiness in your presence, a softness in your voice, a clarity in your eyes. You walk differently. You stand differently. You breathe differently. You no longer carry the weight of being last in your own life. Let us pause once more. Inhale the strength of your presence. Exhale the belief that you must remain unseen. Living from this rebirth means recognizing that your needs do not make you difficult, they make you human. Your desires do not make you selfish, they make you whole. Your boundaries do not make you unkind, they protect your spirit. Everything about you that once felt like a burden becomes a guidepost for what is true. Choosing yourself teaches you to rest without guilt, to speak without fear, to feel without apology, to love without losing yourself. Every time you honor your heart, you reinforce the foundation of your new life. Every time you listen to your intuition, you strengthen your inner trust. Every time you say no when something harms your peace, you deepen your dignity. These choices accumulate like drops filling a vessel, until one day you realize that you have become someone you once longed to be, someone who loves themselves. Let us breathe again. Inhale inner safety. Exhale the belief that your worth depends on sacrifice. Choosing yourself is also a return to softness. For years, perhaps, you learned to be strong in ways that hardened you. You carried burdens without complaint. You endured situations that dimmed your spirit. You walked through pain without letting others see. But strength that hardens is not your true strength. Your true strength is the kind that softens you, the kind that allows you to feel, to rest, to open, to heal. This softness is not weakness, it is wisdom. It is the wisdom of a soul that knows love is a more powerful force than fear. It is the wisdom of a heart that has decided, I am no longer willing to treat myself with anything but kindness. Let us pause again. Inhale tenderness, exhale the armor you no longer need. As you step into this rebirth, you may also notice that certain relationships and situations shift. Some people will meet your newfound self-respect with admiration. Others may feel confused or unsettled. This is natural. You are changing the way you show up in your life, and life responds accordingly. What remains in your life is what aligns with your truth. What falls away is what your heart has outgrown. Trust this process, my dear. Trust that every change is a movement toward deeper alignment. Trust that every departure creates space for something gentler to arrive. Trust that choosing yourself creates a life that matches who you truly are. Let us breathe again. Inhale trust. Exhale fear of change. Choosing yourself is not a destination. It is a continual unfolding. And each time you choose yourself in small ways, in quiet ways, in vulnerable ways, you strengthen your connection to your inner being. You begin to live from a place that feels honest, a place that feels peaceful, a place that feels like home. Imagine now that you are sitting beside a calm river. The water moves with ease, without force, without urgency. It flows because flowing is its nature. In the same way, choosing yourself becomes natural when you stop resisting your own truth. When you allow your life to move in the direction that feels loving, you are learning to flow again. You are learning to live again. You are learning to be again, not for others, but for yourself. Let us pause once more. Inhale acceptance, exhale self-judgment. You have walked a long path, my dear, a path filled with silent burdens and unspoken hopes. And yet, you have arrived here at this moment of awareness, of willingness, of soft self-choosing. This is no small achievement. This is a triumph of your heart. You have returned to yourself. You have reclaimed your right to matter. You have said yes to your own life, and now your life begins to respond. As we close this chapter, I want you to carry one truth with you, a truth that will guide you, comfort you, strengthen you. You are the one you have been waiting for. You are the one who can choose yourself. You are the one who can love yourself. You are the one who can give yourself the life you long for. Let us take one final breath together. A warm inhale of hope, a peaceful exhale of surrender. You are ready for this next chapter, my dear. Ready for a life shaped not by fear, but by self-love. Ready to walk through the world with a heart that knows its worth. Ready to choose yourself today, tomorrow, and again each day after. My dear one, as we come to the end of this journey together, let us rest in the tender truth that choosing yourself is not only an act, it is a return to belonging, a return to presence, a return to yourself. You may not realize it yet, but your heart has been longing to come home to you for a very long time. And with every breath you have taken along this path, you have been answering that longing. There is a softness that comes when we finally give ourselves permission to exist without apology. A softness that grows when we stop hiding our needs behind strength. A softness that arises when we say, I deserve to be cared for too. This softness is not weakness, it is the beginning of belonging to yourself again. Let us breathe together. A warm inhale, a peaceful exhale. Feel how the breath draws you inward. Feel how it gathers every part of you that felt scattered. Feel how it holds you gently and without condition. Your breath knows how to bring you home. It has been guiding you toward yourself since the moment you were born. Choosing yourself is a return to this natural guidance. For too long, perhaps, you believed that your needs were burdens. You believed your feelings were too much. You believed you had to earn your place in the world through giving, pleasing, or perfection. But these beliefs were never the truth of your being. They were learned, shaped by moments in your past where you were not seen in the way you deserved. Now you are beginning to see yourself. This is the quiet miracle of choosing yourself. You begin to recognize your own existence in a new way. You begin to treat your heart as though it belongs. You begin to understand that you are allowed to take up space in your own life. Let us pause again. Inhale acceptance. Exhale the old belief that you must prove your worth. Feel how your body softens when you release the idea that love must be earned. As you choose yourself, you begin to form a new inner relationship, perhaps the first truly loving relationship you have ever had with yourself. This relationship grows in silence, it grows in honesty, it grows in the moments when you place your hand on your heart and whisper, I am here for you. You become your own safe place. And my dear, becoming your own safe place is one of the greatest gifts you will ever give yourself. For so long, you may have searched for safety in others, in their approval, in their reassurance, in their attention. You may have believed that your stability depended on someone else treating you kindly. But true safety comes from within. It comes from the way you respond to your own feelings. It comes from the words you speak to yourself. It comes from the gentleness you extend inwardly each day. Let us breathe again. Inhale inner safety. Exhale old longing for external validation. Feel how your breath teaches you that safety starts within you. When you choose yourself consistently, life begins to feel different. Your inner home becomes warmer, more welcoming, more peaceful. You stop criticizing yourself so quickly. You stop abandoning yourself so easily. You stop running from your own truth. Instead, you turn toward yourself with tenderness. You may even notice that you speak to yourself differently without the harsh tone you once used. You may notice that your decisions come from your heart rather than from fear. You may notice that your steps feel steadier because they are guided by your own truth. This new inner relationship transforms everything. Let us pause again. Inhale self-respect, exhale old self-doubt. Choosing yourself means you begin to listen to your inner voice, not the voice shaped by old criticism, but the voice beneath it. The voice that has always known what feels right for you. The voice that has always tried to guide you gently. The voice that says, this way feels peaceful, or this path does not honor you. This voice grows stronger each time you choose yourself. As this voice grows, you begin to trust yourself. And trusting yourself is one of the deepest forms of belonging. It means you no longer betray your own intuition to please others. It means you no longer silence your own truth to maintain harmony. It means you no longer turn against yourself out of fear. Instead, you become your own ally. Let us breathe again. Inhale partnership with yourself. Exhale the pressure to be someone else's version of you. Feel how your breath supports your inner alignment. Choosing yourself also invites healing into places you once kept hidden. The parts of you that were neglected begin to rise and ask for attention. The parts of you that felt unloved begin to soften and open. The parts of you that felt ashamed begin to release their old stories. Healing happens when the heart feels safe within its own presence. And choosing yourself creates that safety. You may feel waves of emotion, sadness, relief, compassion, confusion. Let them come. These emotions are signs that your inner world is awakening. They are not obstacles, they are invitations. Each feeling that rises is a part of you asking, can I belong here too? And when you respond with kindness, the old wounds begin to heal. Let us pause again. Inhale compassion, exhale resistance. Choosing yourself means choosing love as your guide. Not the exhausting kind of love that empties you, but the nurturing kind that fills you. Not the conditional love you may have grown used to, but the unconditional love that your heart has always deserved. Living from this love changes the way you move through the world. You no longer chase after affection. You no longer cling to people who dim your light. You no longer settle for relationships where your needs go unheard. Instead, you draw into your life people who honor your growth, who celebrate your truth, who meet you with kindness because you meet yourself with kindness first. Let us breathe again. Inhale alignment. Exhale old attachments. Feel how your breath opens space for new, loving connections. Learning to belong to yourself means learning to rest in your own presence. It means learning to sit with your own company without feeling lonely. It means learning to comfort yourself with gentle words when the world feels overwhelming. It means learning to trust that your own support is strong enough to carry you. You may not fully realize the magnitude of this transformation, but let me tell you, my dear, belonging to yourself is freedom. It is peace. It is joy. It is the foundation of a life where you no longer lose yourself in the needs of others. Imagine now that you are sitting beneath a large, steady tree. Its roots run deep. Its branches extend far. Its shade is soft. This tree does not fear the wind or the passing of seasons. It is grounded. It is whole. It belongs to itself completely. This tree is your spirit when you choose yourself, rooted, peaceful, unshakable. Let us breathe again. Inhale rootedness. Exhale fragility. Feel how your breath deepens your sense of inner stability. As you continue choosing yourself, you begin to recognize that you have always been worthy of this belonging. You were worthy as a child. You were worthy when you were misunderstood. You were worthy when you were silenced. You were worthy when you forgot yourself. Your worth has never wavered. You are simply rediscovering it. This epilogue is not an ending. It is a doorway into a life where you are your own sanctuary, a life where you honor your inner truth above outside expectations, a life where you trust your path, your timing, your intuition, a life where your heart has room to breathe. Let us pause once more. Inhale your rightful belonging. Exhale everything that told you otherwise. My dear, you are learning to belong to yourself again, and that is the beginning of every beautiful thing that will follow.